Welcome to the Art Hitman. I'm Perry McCants, and today I'm going to show you how to draw the Predator. Y'all sure y'all don't hear that? I hear something. Y'all sure y'all don't hear that? Let me hurry up and get this drawing started before I get scoped out. Alright, we're going to start Predator. And if possible, once this video is completed, please leave a comment and let me know if this video is helpful for you. So with the Predator, we're going to start off with a regular head shape. That's going to be it's going to take up about the first half of the page like this. So we want to put in a large circle or oval shape like this. All right, then his forehead is going to come down to about here where I marked it here. So if you could draw the top of the head here near the top of the page, the top of his forehead is going to come here, and I will put where his eyes are going to go in. So when we're learning as we're drawing, we're getting the structure and the foundation before we start adding detail, and this will help your drawing improve in a major way. And then let's say his chin will be down here, and if adjustments need to be made, normally you'll see me do that in the video. I'll make adjustments and explain why I had to make adjustments. So now that you see I have the eye line here, I'm gonna go ahead and put a line here on the side, here and here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start with his eyes first, because that's gonna be my focal point of where I'm gonna start. Now for his eyes, I just want you to simply put in 2 circles. One here, and then I'm gonna say that it's about a finger in between on each side. So you wanna put another circle here, okay? Now once you put that circle in, what's gonna happen is we're gonna concentrate on the Predator's eyes, his frown of his brow. So with his brow, you're going to come in just above that circle like this, and it looks like a mad face already if you can see that here. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the left side, and I bounce back and forth between right and left because that's so that we don't forget as we're drawing, because when you're drawing and constructing you can forget a lot. I know I do. So you're going to go back and forth, and as you see here I have his frown in. So the shape is basically in and up, down, in and up, just like this. So where I have this line drawn on the outsides here, this will help you freehand, no rulers required. Just come and bring his brow up to that and go past it just a little bit. These are guidelines that I put in place to help you. It's kind of like a map to remember things. Do the same thing for his left side. You're gonna come out and past where you see the this line here that I've drawn in. After you've gotten these 2 things in, we're gonna go ahead and structure the top of his head. As I said here, this is where the forehead's going to start, and this is where the top of his head's going to stop. It might bleed past that just a little bit depending on how we have things in. So we're going to come around and bring this up to the top, and it is going to go past this line a little bit. Even though sometimes you have this line, it might very well go to the top of the page, and then put a little indentation at the top. Do the same thing on the other side, and then come around. Lightly sketch these in, by the way. I want to encourage that, because sometimes if you commit too early, you make a mistake, it's very hard to erase that mistake. It's okay to be sketchy. As you see here, I have a bunch of lines up in the right hand corner here, but that's okay because I can always go back later and clean that up. But I didn't go too dark where it's hard to get rid of. Now, right now we're doing structure, so we're gonna come back down right under here. Now I'll put my finger there, and we're gonna put the inner eye socket here and just come down, and then we're gonna come up right in front of that brow there. And we're gonna do the same thing for his left side. And as I move on, you'll start to see his face structure coming together a little bit more. The reason why I chose him without his mask is because there's just a lot more things to feature-wise to do and learn as you're drawing. It's more of a challenge when you're learning to draw more features instead of the mask he wears. So we'll come right where this line is again on the outside, and kind of bring a line on the outside and then stop there. Do the same thing for his left side. And as I'm thinking about this, we're building this this Predator drawing right now. So when you see him, we're going step by step. It's pretty much we're just structuring everything in so that it's like building a skeleton or some type of structure, so that once we actually start putting detail in, everything is already in place. What we want to do is bring a line right in and across under where his eyes are here, and we're going to put a letter M in almost. So when I say the letter M, you're going to go up, down in the middle, up again, and then down, and it looks like a stretched out M shape, just like this. After that, you're going to do a U shape on the outside, and it's going to continue up, and it's going to come out right here. And I want you to draw a circle here, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And then do the same thing for his right side. Have a line or U shape that comes into the outside. Then you're gonna draw another circle right here. Once you've got this M shape and everything structured here, his mouth is spread open. So you wanna come in under the circle, and you wanna make kind of like an arc that goes in and then out again and stop. Do the same thing on the left side, in, and then you want to go out again. And you'll see where I'm going in just a minute. Down at the bottom, you want to put another circle shape. It's 4 of them all together. And you want to put another one here. And it's okay if it's uneven, because when we're doing character development, everything is not always even on a human, or in this case, extraterrestrial or alien structure. You know, they move and tentacles go everywhere sometimes. But then explaining this, you want to bring an arc here at the bottom, closing this, and do the same thing right here. Now, what I'm going to do is leave this for now, go back up to the top of his head, because he has 2 outer structures here. So what you're simply going to do is go above this circle right here on the right, and you want to put almost like a flower. I want to use a shape almost like just a reverse 3. Come out of that, and what you're going to do is just simply put a line that comes around like this, because the predator has a lot of shape to his head, and this is going to help you here arc out like this and then come down in and meet the top of his head again. Repeat the same thing for his left side. And how you can measure it, I take my pencil, go here, right, and then take your finger and then mark it. That way you know how high this side needs to be. Sometimes it might be a little different, but just as long as it's not to the point where it's completely lopsided. And do the same thing for this side with that number 3 shape that I gave. Actually, this is going to look like a 3 on the left side. See? Number 3 shape here. Then come back up. Okay. So now, the predator has this kind of like crab shape going on the top of his head. Now, we're going to go ahead and start working on the mouth structure, because there's a lot to it. And so let's go ahead and we're going to put in a circle here and then here. Once you have these 2 circles in, and mind you, this is a shape exercise, believe it or not. He has plenty of circle shapes and ovals and things like that. So we'll get to that and figure out how the shapes fit in with him. So as I'm drawing this, see, we're putting in a tooth here, and the tooth is going to come in and around like this. And if you need to pause or anything like that, feel free to do that if you need to get this shape down. Because this shape kind of takes a little bit of practice. I call it like a reverse raindrop. And then kind of come around like this and follow that circle that I put in. You want to come in, up, over, and then down again. It's almost like a venomous or snake type of look here. So he has these fangs that come down just like that. Ferocious looking fangs. You wouldn't want him to bite you, I'll tell you that. All right, so I'm gonna move this down a little bit because it's a little uneven from the right side. Okay, now, once you've gotten these 2 in, you're gonna go right under here and you're gonna draw a line that comes in and around and then stop. You're gonna do the same thing on this left side. If you follow me step by step, you will see that once you get finished structuring, we're doing an entire structure that's gonna lead to all the details of his face. And then follow the outside. This is the exterior on the outside here, right? Now, for the bottom portion of where his teeth are, you're just gonna put an oval there, just like this. This is very basic, simple shapes. And if you are patient and follow me through this exercise, you'll find that you're building an entire, features of the predator. And it's not as difficult as most people think. You just have to build it. So you want to put a tooth here. You want to put a tooth number 2 here. And it's 4, by the way, 4. 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. So when you're doing a drawing like this, you want to break it down into sections. So right now we're dealing with his mouth, and then after that, you tooth there, you want to come out to the outside and kind of come around like this. Repeat the same thing for his left side, but you want to close this bottom of his chin up. And this brings form to it. So light coming from this side, I don't continue on this side for this reason. So it hits here, and light breaks this up, and then it completes on this side. Now we're going to go to the outside where we put this circle shape here earlier with the fang and all. And we're going to come around just like this to the outside of the bottom of his, where his teeth are. And he has little indentations like this. You can follow this shape, and you're going to be surprised when you finish this. You're going to say, wow. I was able to follow this step by step, and then you'll have everything done. Now, underneath this U shape here, you want to have another line come out like this. And this is almost like his jaw stretching here, and just come in. We're going to repeat the same thing on the right side. Just as I stated, you don't want to forget any steps. and then have to go back and you know, really rethink it over because you don't remember what you did earlier. Because there could be a lot of steps to these type of drawings. And bring that around just like I did with the left side. Now, underneath this circle, you're going to have a line that continues around here, and then same thing here. For the bottom, it's going to come in and up, kind of meeting this side here, and then it's going to do the same thing here. Now, for the outside, or I should say his lips, he has an outside structure that goes up and around and down like this. And then repeat the same thing on the other side. And we're going to move back up to his forehead a little bit and come around just like this and complete this, and then have this part come up like that. And we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to wrap this side here and then come under and go over top of that and bring this up so that the two different sides are different. And I'm going to come here and correct this really quick and move this line up just like that. Now for his eye, we're going to come in and put a line right there. If you can see that, I'm going to point to it. Right out on the edge, come in, and then come around to the other side. For the bottom part of his eyes are stretched open like he's in shock or surprised. And you want to do the same thing here. I wanted to get the effect that you saw his face for the first time. So this expression is showing that he's surprised that you're seeing what he actually looks like without the mask. Okay, so you want to go in here and put a tiny circle in the center, just like this. And do the other for the right eye, just like that. We're gonna go above that and cap off his eyelid and do the same thing on the other side. Now, in the middle here, we're gonna come up and put a little arc in here like this. This adds a little bit of detail feature here. Come around like that. And then he has swirly, kind of like little lines that go around the top of where his eye is. Then at the bottom, you can repeat the same thing and just have a few lines come in and up. It's almost like wrinkle lines if you want to just repeat this shape over and over again. It's not difficult. You just want to repeat these lines that come in and around like in his eye socket. Okay, moving right along. You come back up to the top of his head. I want to give a little bit more form to his head and close this and kind of go up in there, make it look a little better. And then put this shape in. At the top of his head, you want to come down, and I'm going to tell you why you're putting this shape in. Because this shape right here, he has kind of like spots, almost like leopard spots. So you want to come in and just have this here so that later on, you can add that in. We're gonna come back to the outside of what I call this crab shell here, and it's riveted. It has little ridges in it. It goes in, out, and then it just or it repeats itself all the way down here. So it's kind of like a crab, outer crab layer shell look. And do the same thing on this side. It doesn't really matter. You can go in and out and create even more craters if you want. I'm just kind of repeating the shape here just for the sake of it being simpler. And then now we have this here done. We're gonna go back to his teeth. With his teeth, let's go ahead and erase here for a minute and come in so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna place his teeth in here. Now with his teeth, what you wanna do is repeat the shape of the circle and go in and make another circle inside that and just bring a hook around. It's kind of like an arc. You can go a little dark to get his teeth shape in here, and you're gonna bring it out to the center like this. And then when you go to the outside here, I'll point to it, and I'll clean all of this up later as well, so you can get a better look at it. Have a line that comes out right here. It's going to continue and meet this where his, I want to say his upper lip is. And then you want to come right back up here like his, or like this, excuse me, not like his, excuse me. And then do the same thing for the other side, but I want this to come straight down. And this is just so that it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. When creatures are moving and animated and things like that, everything is not always perfect when they're moving around and excited or doing some yelling or something like that. So bring this tooth down just like this. Go in, define this line here. And I'm gonna erase this just a little bit. It's gonna come around and it's gonna be this part coming up like this. See that? It goes in and come up. And what I'm doing is creating features for the predator. Okay, so we got his two upper teeth in, and then wrap that around there like that. Now, for his bottom teeth, these actually look like more like on a reptile type of look. So what you want to do is erase these bottom parts out, and we're going to just take lines that go up like this, come back down, and then close off like this. Do the same thing for this side. And then they have thinner, almost like snake fangs that come upward and then stop. They're much, in contrast, they are much thinner than his upper teeth here, as you can see. And if you want to measure how far up the tooth goes, take your pencil, put your finger there, mark it, then just meet that point. All right. Now, what's happening at this point is he does have locks, or I used to call it actually a Rasta look. Like he almost has dreads, or he doesn't almost have dreads, he has dreads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to time lapse this, and then I'll go back and explain it. Now, on the right side, as you notice, I put in some of his actual dreads here, and the reason being because on the left side I'm explaining a little bit more, so that way you can actually get an understanding. The time lapse for this side was to kind of cut time for the right side, and then I'll explain left side. So underneath this, if you see this arc, you want to have repeating shapes that kind of goes around in an arc shape like this. As he has a lot of them, but for the sake of the drawing, you just want to make it fuller and appear to be a whole lot when you're just repeating the same shapes. It's like S shapes if you see it here. And then the final one, I usually just tuck it in the back behind his head like this. All right. So for each one of them, he has like a little detail, like almost like jewelry that kind of goes on here. And if you see the shape, I'm doing half oval shapes here, and just repeat those shapes, and you can vary them. They don't have to be just right next to each other, the same size. And go in here and lightly put in different coil shapes for his dreads, and it just makes it more detailed with the character. This is a feature that I noticed that he has whenever in any movie I saw. They have kind of like these little things that hold his coils or his hair in place, and you can repeat the same shape down. I'm gonna close this off for you, and come down right here and do the same thing. Put these coils in, or these little things that are kind of like jewelry. And do the same thing for this side. Come down a little bit and put them in right here. And I vary them just because they could be different shapes, lengths, different sizes, and they could be moving around. So they don't always have to all be right next to one another. And just go up and down and repeat it. And kind of make the last one like that. And then of course he has some at the bottom of his locks. And then come right there. Now, we're at the point now where we're starting to get to his body. So I'm gonna put his body structure in. For his body, we're gonna he's wearing a neck, some type of neck brace that kind of wraps in here, and it just repeats itself. So if you see the shape here, I have a U shape. You wanna repeat that maybe 3 or 4 times. So I'm gonna come in like this, and remember all of this is freehand, and it saves you time. You don't have to get shapes to repeat oval shapes or rulers and all. I usually do 90% of my stuff freehand, because what it does is saves you on time and money. And then go in like this here. For his chest, you want to simply put a line here and bring it down like this and repeat his shape. Close this off rather, and do this other side right here. And then you want to come up just like this. And actually what happens here is we're going to put his shoulder in. He has shoulder pads, so I'm going to go ahead and just come up high and put shoulder pads in on him. Just like that. Just put an arc in, and then have this side come up like this, and then another shape that, a shape that repeats that and come up like this. And then the rest can go off the page. he has a chest brace or a strap that comes across like this. So just put a line across his chest off the page. And then you can put a little buckle right here for a little added detail. And then repeat this strap right here. Now for his left shoulder, he actually has a cannon on it. So I'm gonna just come around like this. Let me see if I can measure this with my pencil all the way across, and it'll probably be about this high. So come up a little bit more and then let this go off the page. And he has armor on this side as well. So you want to repeat this kind of shape and put it under here, and then come down and do that one more time. And then on his chest, he kind of has a piece of metal that holds that gun or that laser onto his chest. And it comes around like this. And notice I'm putting everything in lightly. We're not going too heavy. So let me go back in. I have a couple of extra strokes here. I don't want to confuse anybody. Okay. Now for his cannon, we're going to simply put small mount on his shoulder, right down to here. And I'm going to show you really quick how to do this. You're going to go up off of his shoulder like this, and just simply put a line here, and then you'll put lines straight across here. Now these two shapes here are going to be what the mount is. And then after you put the mount in, you erase these lines out and just go up a little bit. And then there's a little neck that comes up out of it like this. And you can just put a little half oval shape here. And then we're going to create we are actually going to create the cannon. So I'm going to erase out some of his locks here so we have space for it. And I'm not going to go too big with the cannon. You're going to just put an oval shape here. Go inside and put another oval shape. And draw two lines that goes back into space like this. Stop it. Come on the back like this. And draw another oval shape. Once you have this tube shape here, let me make this top a little rounder. Once you have that, you can go ahead and put like another square piece on top like this, and then put a aim. It's more like a detail where you can put your eye and it zooms in, like almost like a scope, and then come around the back like this. Put two lines coming down like this in the front. Now for this, the reason why I went light, because there's a bottom half of it where you can take a line here, draw through the other side, and put a line there. This just adds a little bit of detail to the cannon, not too much. And it closes off the bottom half. And you can put like two lines here just to make it look cool. Now, there's a few more things. The one thing that I noticed with the Predator is he has kind of like a pattern on his chest. Like it's like you can see straight through it, almost like a fishnet. So you want to take lines to go across his chest like this for a little added detail. And this is an important detail that he has all the time. And then you crisscross it, just like this. All the way over. It's like checkers or anything else. So now that you've gotten up to this point, you have just drawn the Predator without his mask on. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to time lapse and speed up, add some detail to it, clean it up with the eraser. And if you want to, I always suggest it at the end of the video. If you want to take a look at it with the added detail and everything, then that's what you can do, is you can pause it. Now, at this point, he has little points that come out of the top of his eyebrow. So you want to go in, if you see what I'm doing, just put little tiny greater than signs or less than signs, whichever way the direction is going in, and go right off like this. This is an important detail that he has on his eyebrow. These little spikes here, just repeat them over and over again. Up, over, up, and off of the edge. You can put a couple of them. And I'm being honest with you, you don't have to do exactly the way I'm doing it, and you just want to make it, you know, as many points as you want. So you could just repeat them up on his head if you want, just like this. And this is just a little another feature that he has. Okay. Now, at the end of the video, you can feel free to pause this once it's done and all cleaned up. Once I time lapse and add a little bit of detail, if you want to add extra detail, you can always pause the video and take a look at what I'm done once it's completed. And so now I'm going to time lapse and add detail and clean it up, and that'll complete the drawing.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by clicking this round button at the bottom. Also, click one of the 2 videos at the top. Please like this video, tell a friend, and share it on Facebook. Thank you.
The Art Hitman.